Good afternoon. Today we have Stanley Stewart, who's running for Macon-Bibb County Commission, District 3. Thank you for being here today.
Monica, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I appreciate you so much.
I'm glad to have you here. I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
We're getting ready for the runoff.
Right.
So first off, what do you think is the biggest issue or challenge that needs to be addressed, and how do you plan on solving that if you're elected?
Well, East Macon District 3 is a special district to me, and I think the biggest challenge is economic development. There are three tenets to my campaign: economic development, public safety, and infrastructure. But of those three, economic development reigns supreme. We've had a lot of closures on Shoreline Drive and Gray Highway, and through those closures, we want to make sure that we find businesses that come back into those areas. So as citizen Stanley Stewart, I've already met with people across the country, for that matter, and talked about East Macon developers, try to bring their interest to East Macon. So that's the biggest thing.
All right. Now, how has your background and your experience prepared you for this role?
Well, I've worked in East Macon for years, all my life, basically, you know, and neighborhood associations, individuals, we've always worked together to try to solve problems. And so that's the biggest thing I think that makes me the perfect candidate and the perfect choice to be commissioner from District 3.
All right. Now, what would progress look like to you if you are elected for this position?
Well, I think by seeing more development. Quite honestly, you know, public safety is something that we always talk about, but the numbers in East Macon aren't as bad as other parts of Macon, and making sure that we have a ongoing and strong relationship with the Bibb County Sheriff's Department, also with Jones County Sheriffs and Twiggs County, because they border East Macon. Infrastructure from the standpoint of lights, you know, where you don't have lights, sometimes you have crime. And also human infrastructure. My goal is also to bring all the neighborhood associations in East Macon together. So once you do all of that, and once you see positive dividends, if you will, from your actions, I will have known I've done my job.
All right, and so you talk about this economic development, you know, that's one of your main three, you said if not the most important.
It is, yes.
What would that look like to you? Do you want to see, like you said, more lights? Is it more businesses? What does that look like to you if elected? Yeah,
well, the goal is to bring those businesses that left back, you know, not necessarily per se each business, but make sure that developers from across the country, and mainly local developers as well, bring those businesses back to those areas. And another thing is minority businesses. We want to make sure that more minority businesses are seen in East Macon, make sure that contracts that come from the city have minority and female contractors involved in it. So it's a conglomerate, if you will, of ideas, and making sure those ideas converge as one central idea for a better East Macon.
All right, and so why is that so important to you that you see this change in East Macon? What does that mean to you? Well,
you know, East Macon was the place where Macon birthed from. You know, it's the home of Macon, if you will. And you've got citizens out there who've worked hard all their lives in neighborhoods all throughout East Macon who want to see the sentiment that you hear from every single neighborhood association is the same. And so, you know, as a person who's elected, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, you want to make sure that you bring those people's wishes to the table and have their voices heard. And my main concern is to make sure that the voices and the people of East Macon are reflected in my leadership and my time as a commissioner.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you so much.
All right, we will have the full interview for Mr. Stewart, as well as all the other candidates that are running in this runoff race, on our website, 41nbc.com. Make sure to head on over there for the full interview and other details for the runoff election.